Where you at, man?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm at home, chilling.
You got multiple homes. You're like DJ Khaled.
Um, he got multiple. I mean, if I had DJ Khaled money, I would have multiple homes too, but not like these homes. These are just apartments. Bro, there was yeah. This is how I know. I was thinking like, I don't know if God's real, right? I,
Okay.
I've been on my atheist tip for a minute, right?
You're a little
I,
agnostic. I see you.
so I have a problem, right? I just can't stop drinking malt liquor,
It's
right? Right. So look, I'm not like a malt liquor drinker every single night, but like, there's sometimes I'm like, I could use a malt liquor right now. I could have me some beer right now. You know what I
nice little
mean?
malt pick me up. I get that.
So the bar that I normally just would walk right to, not too far from my house, to get the beer, come right back home. So I did it the other day, got the beer, came home. That night, the bar caught on fire.
Oh no.
The bar caught on fire, and I was like, "Yo, there might be a God. Like this might be a sign." It's like, "Yo, bro, you gotta get your body together. You got to get more healthy. This is God telling me that I got to walk farther to the next bar to get my beer." You know what I mean? So it's like God want me to work out. I'm like, okay, I see it.
I was like, I like that the idea of God having you walk more, but also making someone's company go away for the sake of you recognizing, oh, I should drink less. I should cause an electrical fire at the small business so Alan can switch over to a different beverage.
It'll be back. It was just a small apartment fire on top of it'll be back.
Uh,
But I was like, God wanted me to get my steps in. I see.
God wanted me to rep some alcohol as well, man. I want to show off my hoodie. Boom, boom. They say you got to keep hydrated, so I wanted to advertise some water on here. It's no, it's I did get this at TJ Maxx, $15, and I don't even be drinking Budweiser like that, but I'm like, that's clutch.
What's okay? So I'm glad you got that shirt on. What's going on with the whites?
Proper Ebonics. As always, we will talk about the whites, and welcome to Proper Ebonics. Uh,
I forgot that. Hello, people.
it's, nah, man. Yeah, well, we talk about the whites, man. So it's Bud White. Bud White. So, like, I guess Bud White, they picked up a partnership with a very popular trans activist. Bruce Pratt, if you pull up the name of the activist, I think it's like Delvaney or something like that. But I don't have the exact name. I've seen bits and pieces of the story, but they're very known. They have like an Instagram page, I think it's called like 365 Girlhood, where they've recently transitioned and it's journeys their transition. So people are into the person, and Budweiser has made a partnership. And Kid Rock, who is a fan of the drinks, the Budweisers and the Bud Lights, or he was a fan of the Bud Lights because he, in response to this, he made a video in which he used an assault rifle to shoot a bunch of cans of Bud Light in response because he wasn't feeling the partnership. And let's see, the activist name is Dylan Mulvaney. I may be pronouncing that wrong or not, but yeah, Kid Rock is not feeling Dylan.
Wow. So he shot beers. He purchased beers and shot them. Oh, I mean, Budweiser just got promotion. You just paid for it. I'm not sure what his point was here.
That's so two parts of this sort of thing like that. One, that is kind of a wild thing to shoot beer sort of thing. Those are you can have those beers, have a nice time, have a nice Sunday. It's also I don't really care for. All right, before I phrase it this way, do you think it's okay for Kid Rock or any? There's a few other artists, I think a few country artists who have boycotted these brands afterwards. Do you think that that's a freedom of speech thing, or do you think it crosses a line into transphobia, or both? It could be both.
I think that I think that's both. So it's like, I'm down with the boycotts. I love boycotting people that I disagree with and I don't like. Right. But it's because most of the time it's because they're racist and stuff like that, or they've done something But to boycott someone because they are just themselves, it's pretty ism. It's a transphobic or it's one of them. It's not. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Like it's
Right.
if you're boycotting. So say me and you were sponsors, and someone's just boycotting just because we're the sponsors and we're black. Yeah, that's wrong because you're just racist. You know what I mean? You can boycott if you want. You're allowed to. You're allowed to boycott, but you are showing your Kid Rock showing his phobia, transphobia.
They,
You know what I mean?
they could also just be anti-podcast. Like if we're like sponsors for like Burberry, people may boycott. They're like, no, we want true radio. We don't want this podcast business over here. No, I'm with it in the sense of like boycotting. That's fine. It's if that's what you want to do, sure. I think a lot of times people could be very performative with it, which could be maybe a bit annoying. And this is definitely a performance. I my thing with it is the assault rifle part. It's like I feel like a lot of times with people that identify as trans, they face like a lot of violence, and especially everything going on with guns. It's like I don't really care for that sort of message, sort of thing. Um, he does him though. He could do him, and people are gonna cover it. I just doesn't really seem like the um, doesn't seem like the most ideal way if you are going to boycott something. It feels very fueled by negativity. And he didn't really release any real reason as to why he's boycotting it. It was just like, I don't like this in an aggressive way.
That's the reason. He don't have to say it. It's like if his beer he drinks to get a new sponsor, and it's like a polarizing figure, and he decides to shoot Karen's up. You ain't got to say much. So we can pretty much tell by your actions what you're saying.
How will the world view this 50 years from now? How will this not necessarily Kid Rock, but like kind of like rampant transphobia? We look at photos of people throwing ketchup on black people in diners. Will this be in the history books 50 years from now of Kid Rock shooting up Bud Light? Of like, oh, here's some transphobia.
I, it's hard for me to compare those two things, but I think this will be in the history books.
Yeah.
I think that transphobia will definitely be in the history books. I think I'll leave it at that. You know what I mean? Like that's I can't. You can't. Yeah, you're right. You can't compare the two.
As I was saying, I was like, oh, I feel like he won't really dig this much.
You know me so well. Yeah. So I knew it was something going on, and it's funny because me and my girl, we were literally talking. We were like, "What the hell is going on with the rights?" Like, because like, and I didn't care enough to research it, but like, yeah, I can see this. This is hello, doggy. This is clear transphobia. This is clear. It's just like yo, you could just boycott. You could just not look if you want to be transphobic, that you whatever, right? Boycott, just boycott. But now when you bring in the guns and that's the violent part that they stop you, bro. Just don't drink it. Just don't drink it. Like I didn't use I don't do Papa John's. I didn't go shooting up pizza boxes. Like means it's like doesn't make sense.
That would be a wild ad for PE though. Like, on this week's topics. And excuse the background noise. We got some boycotters in the back. Your boys dog sitting. 3 dogs. They're wilding. There's a new dog here, the one that like I've not dog sit before. His name's Goose, and him and I are forming a relationship, and it's there's tension. There's tension between Goose and I.
Really? How old is Goose?
Goose is like 7 months old, I think.
What kind of dog is it?
I don't know. I don't know if I should know that, but I think it's like some black lab mix, maybe. It kind of looks like a black lab mix. Cute dog, but it has been growling at me when I walk by. If I walk by a few times, it will growl at me. I'm like, oh, all right. Luckily, I have 2 other dogs that are very familiar with me, and one kind of like whenever she hears the growl, she comes to my defense. She stands right next to me. I'm like, oh yes, shot stolen.
Yeah, so that other dog is the Kid Rock of dogs, I guess.
I know, right?
It's just all phobic and isms everywhere in that dog.
That's why I want to give a shout to my sponsor, Budweiser, who was kind enough to send me this. And yeah, I'm going to rep their brand well.
That's a pretty confident decision right there to buy a white hoodie. It's very confident.
It was cold on this day too. I was walking around like this. They couldn't see my face.
I wasn't even talking about that, but That's hilarious. I was just talking about getting dirty, but you're right. You in your neighborhood, they're like, oh, there he's one of us.
Ay, ay, ay. Yes, I try to keep it clean as well. I try
He put the hood on. That's hilarious.
Oh man.
I was talking about ketchup, not blood.
I feel like I haven't seen you in a minute, man. What have you been up to in these streets?
Yo, bro, I'm in the mix.
Hmm.
Like cheese doodles, pretzels, and some chips.
What?
Yeah, so cheese doodles, pretzels, and chips is what's in the party mix chip bag.
Bro, I was saying what to the ROM. You know I'm all about the ROMs. I heard that little bar right there. I like that.
Oh! I'm sorry. I really apologize. I thought you was confused about the reference. Like I don't get it.
Oh no, man. I was just like I like a nice little casual bar in the morning.
That is a vintage 2004 Meek Mill.
Ooh, okay.
I'd be all up in the mix, like cheese doodles, pretzels, and some chips. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, man. But I've been I seen you at Pat show. That's my seen you was at Pat show.
Yeah.
In
Shout out
Reading.
to Mr. Pat. Shout out to the Red Saloon or Salon. Salon, right? Red Salon.
Salon, because Saloon's a bar.
That's right. Yeah. And we were not in a bar. We were in a
Studio. It's a studio. Producer Pat's a studio.
wait, what?
It's a studio. Red Horse Studio. It's not a salon.
Red Horse.
Hair Studio. We gotta get it right. Shout out to them up there in Temple, PA. It was a great show.
Yeah, but yeah, very cool setting. It was nice out there. Got to rock out. Yourself, Sonia, Andy. Always nice seeing Andy, Tyler, and them. It was cool.
Don't forget Seamus. Pat sent me my tape from that the other day, and as I brought that up because you said what I've been up to, and I was watching that joint, and I was like, yo, that crowd was very very juicy, but I was murdering that joint, like,
yeah.
bro. And I was thinking, I was like, I know what that is. That's just me being in the mix. Like, that's just me being focused. And that the idea of writing for my album is really, I don't like, as I'm doing it now, I'll be thinking, I'd be like, yo, the problem with a lot of comedians, and even myself, before I got into this mindset is we're not writing with a purpose. We're just writing and just telling jokes that like, when I got a focus and a purpose and a reason, it's like, yo, it's coming quicker and faster and funnier. Like yeah, man. I've been up to I've been in the mix.
Yeah, man. That's always cool. And from what I understand, you may have saw a little bit a notable comedy person while you were in the mix out in these streets.
Well, I see.
That's it may have been someone that identifies Mr. Roaster.
Oh yeah, I ran into Jeff Ross. Yeah, definitely. At the Grizzly Pear. I was just chilling there. Like I wasn't even on the show that night. I'm just hanging out, I just came. Was it night after that show, wasn't it?
I think it was. Yeah, it was like that Monday or something like that.
Yeah, and I was just chilling in there. He just come walking in. I was like, that's Jeff Ross. Like I see him from miles away. I mean, he started walking in. Now he's like walking right at. I'm standing there. I'm just introducing myself, shook his hand. I know one of his friends. So I was like, I know this person. He's like, yeah, it's my friend. I was like, well, yeah, that's what I'm telling you. You know what I mean? So, we got mutual. You know what I mean? So I just say what's up to him, and that was it. And I left him alone. I didn't like take a picture or ask for autograph. That ain't my twist. But like, yeah, it was cool to see him just hanging out. You know what I mean?
When you dapped him up, you should have like initiated like a nice little secret handshake situation. Like started doing a lot of different moves in there, see if he goes with the flow of it. See how that friendship works out.
Yeah, that'd be cool. He might. I don't want to end up as his material. You know, he'd be touring around now. He'd be with Chappelle and them. You know what I mean? So
He roasts us out, man. He was roasting a peanut the other day. I saw him roasting a peanut. I was like, this guy can't be stopped.
he roasts everything. He roasts history people from. He roasted Harriet Tubman. Like, you know what kind of balls you gotta have as a white guy to roast Harriet Tubman?
This dude's wild, man. Speaking of like the idea of like going out and like you're at the spot, you're kind of just hanging. You ended up kind of just seeing someone cool. You're just being in the atmosphere and all that stuff. I'm curious your take on this when it comes to the hangs and comedy hangs sort of thing. So I did Helium for a nightcap show. Shout out to them. It was a cool show Thursday, and I don't know if you ever had this. Like for me, I'm not really like a ha 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 prior to the show sort of thing. Like I'm not really like busting out jokes or things. Just I usually kind of keep to myself for the most part. Yeah, kind of like get things down. Like it's different. Like maybe different people. You talk for a little bit, but some people they got the juice prior to the show, and it's just like bump 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 bump. And sometimes it could feel kind of out of place. Of like, man, should I be in bump 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 mode? But I know myself enough now where it's like, no, I don't, that's just
Yeah.
not really my thing as much. It's until afterwards though. It's when you after you do the thing on stage, that's when it's like, all right, I'm good, sort of thing. It's almost like, all right, did the thing. Now it's I could bump 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 all around, sort of thing like that. Do
Sound
you
like B2K. Bum bum bum.
do you ever think that fuel is wasted by doing the bump bump bumps prior to getting on stage?
I hate the bump bump bumps.
You hate the bump bump bumps.
I hate them.
Well,
So like I don't like my best case scenario. Like even when I'm driving to a show, like if I'm with my homie, I gotta tell my homie all the time. Like I'm like, bro, you gotta stop talking. Like
yeah,
you gotta just stop talking. Like I can't get in the mindset. Like I don't like to talk and be all fun and games with people. But so when I do go places and I see my friends who I haven't seen in a long time,
yeah.
it's hard for me to not bump bump bump. But I know when I'm bumping that it's going to affect my set. But I kind of I'm just like, okay, I'll be all right though. I haven't seen my friends in a while. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I
You
don't
do think
like
it
to.
affects your set though?
What'd you say?
You think it affects your set?
I know it does.
Really?
I know it does because for me, the the best that I feel and the best confidence that I have is when I'm in my zone. I got it in my head and I got it figured down. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So it's like, um, yeah. So when I bump, I'm talking to people, I'm shaking hands and stuff like that. It takes me out of that zone a little bit. It does. It does.
Yeah,
And producer Pat just said, he said, it didn't affect me at Red Horse.
sure. Because we were bump bump bumping. Whoa, take that
Think,
out back.
if you think about it though, Kirk. Think about it. During the comedian set before me, I wasn't even in the room.
Turn to who's? Oh, that's right. Yeah,
I
yeah.
was down. I was down by the bathroom by myself, just pacing because I
Sure.
can't. I can't like be in this.
Chatter. Yeah, too much stimulation going on. So I think that's a big part for me too. Like that stimulation, and like it's not just like hearing jokes, but like social interactions in general and navigating that. And it's like my energy set on that instead of like focusing on how I want to do this. And I think there are different situations too where it's like if it's more casual, say the people, like I feel like at Red Horse, I was able to kind of like joke around in the green room a little bit, all that stuff because like I knew you guys and all that. But I was also able to kind of like isolate myself when needed and didn't feel like like, being rude or whatever. It never really feels like that in general, but like it's like okay, I could dip when needed in order to focus. It's just it is interesting to see that because I feel like that's part. It's almost like a staple of comedy in a lot of ways, like green room chats and before the show hang sort of thing. And that's one aspect that it never fully resonated with me. I feel like there's times where I gotta like kind of have my space for doing that thing, for getting busy on stage.
So
Wow.
have you ever been talking to people and conversing and then like didn't do well on stage like you wanted to, like didn't do good as you wanted to?
Open mics that happens, but it's also like it's an open mic in the sense that like I'm going to be more casual. And a lot of times I'm seeing people that whether I haven't seen for a while or it's like, oh, it's cool to see them here. I'm more prone for the bump, bump, bump before open mics sort of thing. That happened in Spring City like last Wednesday or something like that. And I was like, oh, I was seeing some people I haven't seen in a while and all that stuff. And I was chatting up Storm and the set wasn't that great. It was new things I was trying out, but if I had not bumped, who knows? Could have been a
Mm-hmm.
start. I could be like working on
Yeah.
a bit that I'm like, oh, this is something I'm going to bring to the streets now. Um, now I'm not too sure about the bit. I'm not too sure about it. It's like, oh, this the reaction that I got for this. Um, Not sure if I want to build on this so much. That said, I'm probably going to continue to build on it and see what works out.
Yeah. Next time, just don't talk to a bunch of people before you go up, and you can really get a good feel for it. But open mics is a trap for that.
Yeah,
Trap. I've seen it a million times, and I try to tell people like when I'm at an open mic, I'm here with a purpose, with a mission. Like I need to work on these. Like it's a lot of comedians there, Like everybody talking, but I'm here to work, bro. Like it's hard though. Open mics may be one of the hardest places to keep my mind where I need to be to, because like at a show it's like a couple comedians, whatever. I can go to the back while the show's going on, but an open mic is 30 people.
Yeah.
Like it's a lot going on, you know. So
Trying to find like an isolated corner in the break room. It's like, oh my gosh, everyone's here. It's like really trying to work this out. Yeah, maybe I might see you on the mic on Monday. And if I ignore you completely, know that's because I'm in my zone. That's
okay, Kirk, it's fine. You want to talk to me? It's okay. Hope the joke bombs. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. No, but yeah, it's a thing, bro. Like I'm good at it now though. I'm good at like at Red Horse. I'm good at it where, and I was like, I know I'm going last, so it's like I got time. So it's like I got time to hang out and talk.
right.
But like two to one or two comments before me, I'm not even in the room. Like I left the room. I was hanging out in the back, pacing, going to my like because I can't just like go from the green room to six people. Just like I just don't feel in where I want to be. You know.
Yeah, and it's nice afterwards after you do the thing, and that's like, oh, okay, now I don't need to be in that zone anymore. I can like step out of it and like enjoy the people around me, sort of thing. So that was cool in that aspect. But speaking of being like in the zone, man, I heard that there was another notable comic that was got in the zone, and people are talking about the zone in which she was in.
Talking about Monique.
That's what I'm hearing, man. I'm curious. What's Monique been up to?
Monique dropped a highly anticipated, awaited album on special on Netflix. She finally
Oh,
dropped a special on Netflix. They finally paid her, and she dropped a special on Netflix.
oh, that's right. Because there was like a money situation too, right?
You
Mm.
want an Amy Schumer money, Dave Chappelle money? I don't think she got that, but I think they figured out something, and she was happy, and she finally put out her special.
Mm.
Um, just like every special, you see people. So look, like, did you watch it?
I've not watched yet.
I watched it. Um, I think that a lot of people. So I've been seeing this. How do I say this? Like,
Mm.
I hate when comedians we go every time somebody does a special. I hate it when comedians go on the internet and just bash and bash and bash and bash for whatever
Like
reason.
other comics going bash.
Whatever, bro, it don't make sense. You bash people don't get it. People don't get it. Bashing a comedy special does nothing positive for your career. Not a single thing. But
Fuck your headspace.
for anything, there's no positives in it. The only positive you're going to get in it is some chuckles and some laughs and some comments, because that's all you niggas care about.
You want those 17 laugh emojis?
That's all they want. You know what I mean? They want that. They want that. They want that when you feel it. They want that
That,
endorphin rush. They want the
oh
like.
yeah, they
They
want
want
the names.
yeah, the dopamine. That's what they want. They want those. Oh, I feel good about myself now. But
Mm.
it's like, bro, y'all it's counterproductive of what you're trying to do. How you gonna be one? How you want to put out comedy specials, but all you do is bash comedy specials? By the time you get to yours, ain't nobody gonna want to watch comedy specials. All y'all doing is bashing them all the time.
No, it's a lot of times, a lot of energy just focus on the bashing part. We see it not just with comedy specials, but in general for like, I would say that even for like TV shows, like SNL when they come out with stuff. Shout out to Andy Malafrina, man. Like he once mentioned like the idea of like for his shows, a lot of times he reviews things that he likes. 'Cause it's
Mm.
like, what's the I'm putting energy and just talking about things that I don't like, sort of thing. And that's not to say like don't have opinions that are like
Right.
negative towards something, because that's not really realistic. But it's like it seems like a lot of people just put energy, and that's what energizes them of like the negative aspects. I feel like a lot of times it's easier to just talk about negatives of someone else's negatives, and trying to get out of that headspace. You think that it affects people's comedy and it affects like their output for what they are trying to do.
The point that I'm making is not that particularly, but the point that I'm making is it's like owning a restaurant, right? But all you do is give restaurants bad reviews.
It's a good tactic.
It's not. It's not. It's really not, because now people are just gonna stop going to restaurants. You understand? If every
Right.
restaurateur is just like, "Oh, all these restaurants are terrible," and then another person's like, "All these are terrible," it's just like, "All right, I'm gonna just stay home and cook." You know what I mean? Like,
It's a bad look for comedy overall. It's like we're
right,
constantly talking negative about other comics and other comics.
right.
Yeah,
It doesn't positively affect them in any way. All it does is negatively affect them. And they don't even see it. Like, if all y'all doing, like, I've seen comedians post on Facebook negative. Someone said like, I'm tired of everybody bashing Monique Special, right? And I was like, yeah, I agree with that. And then I see somebody regular comment and was like, oh, I haven't seen that. Tell me more. So it's like you're opening them up to something they're not even, you know what I mean?
like,
We're doing it right now.
right. Unless I may
Like,
start bashing it. I haven't seen you start like just dropping negative comments about it. I just try to give a review about Precious. So I'm like, yeah, close enough. No, I haven't seen it, but I have seen like people talk negatively about it, sort of thing, and that's I don't know if that's ever really going to end. Uh, what makes us different? What makes us what do you think this driver is? Because there's people out there, and it's not to say that they're like necessarily like evil or hugely flawed, but they're dropping like these negative comments. But what's making us any different? What are we? What's making us so that we're not doing these negative comments? Or uh, that's do you kind of get what I'm getting at with this one? Of like,
we're
what's
not we're not negative people.
hmm,
I don't have anything in my heart to want to bash, especially a black woman. You're not catching me just bashing a black woman.
hmm,
I mean, like, you wild for that. Like, it's just like I tell my kids, right? Like, the people that make fun of other kids and are bullies are the hurt people.
right?
Hurt people hurt people. Like, you're negatively speaking about this because you have negative things in your mind and your heart, bro. Like, if you moving off love and positivity, you don't want to go in there and bash nothing.
Hmm.
I don't bash nothing online anymore. You know what I mean? Like, bro, I used to roast everything walking. I was bad. I wasn't happy.
I don't really remember you like bashing stuff.
I was going, bro, I had to delete a lot. Okay. I deleted a lot. I made my bones roasting people and making fun of people and just being like nasty. I'm telling you, bro, I did.
Hmm.
Okay. Now I'm at a point where I'm just writing funny jokes.
Have a shift in focus sort of thing.
Yeah. And that's how I can say these things because I'm telling you, I was there. Like, I was there. Like, I was like, I don't think I ever got to the point where I was just bashing specials. I just never got that. But like, yeah, I was negative a lot, bro. But I think it does make us different. Like, there's no positives in it, so I ain't doing it. That's how I live my life nowadays. If you don't help me, I ain't doing it.
Without spoiling anything for the special, does Monique address the negotiations with Netflix? I
That was
just
one of my that was one of my biggest critiques, I'll say. I wanted to hear about that.
yeah,
She like Lee Daniels was there in the audience.
really. Whoa.
She like had a joke about him. He like stood up and clapped and everything. It was cool. But I wanted to hear like the nitty gritty about like I wanted her to go in. She didn't really go in on it. That was like when I ended it, I was like, oh, I want to hear that Netflix stuff, bro. Like, she ain't going on that. She talked about a lot about her life growing up and stuff like that. Stuff I didn't know about her. I learned a lot, but I wanted to hear about that Netflix stuff. Like,
Did she talk about DL Hughley at all? Did he stand up when he heard that? He was like, "Oh yes, you mentioned yes, very good." Once again, that's
Oprah wasn't there neither. You know what I mean?
uh,
Like,
uh,
yeah, but it don't help, bro. And the same people that are quick to bash Monique special or any other special will be the same people quick to accept the booking if they ask them to open for them. You know what I mean? So keep that same energy, man.
yeah, that's a wild mix of like opening for someone that you openly bash for is for a little bit. That's
Matt, I've done shows for headliners and they've asked to like see your work before you get a chance to work with them. You know how you like gotta submit your video.
right.
When those things happen and people like this headliner is possibly wants to work with you, can you send me your info? I literally be thinking like, yo, have I ever said anything bad about them online? Like I would like search my tweets like, have I ever said anything bad about this person? You know what I mean? Because it's like somebody that could happen, bro. Like if I'm a headliner, bro, and I ain't got nothing but time on my hands, I'm on a flight, and then
Right.
yo, what you think about this comedian Kirk Griffiths or whatever, right?
Yeah.
I see your tape. I'm like, oh, he funny. Let me go see what he posts on Twitter. I don't know. and like your first post is like bashing my special, like
That'd be yeah. That's
you know,
that would be a wild move. I may need to take. Your boy gets self conscious about being maybe a little too nice sometimes. I'm trying to spice it up and get a little bit more mnemonic. So I'm gonna be doing some wild stuff. I'm gonna be making some criticisms. Like a lot of times, like friends will come up to you and like talk about their insecurities. Um, I'm gonna start agreeing with those insecurities when they confide in me.
like yeah,
That's
that hairline is fucked up.
yeah. Your
Like
uterus.
you know what you said that you were narcissistic, and I see that. That's one of your best qualities. You're very
Yeah, man. There's a lot of those situations.
yeah.
Out of curiosity, man, I was wondering, did you? I may need some more information on this, but like there was a lot of talk about the women's basketball teams, the college basketball teams.
Man, so have you watched any college basketball, women's basketball this year?
No.
All right. So I mean, most people haven't, right? But this has been the most. This has been not. I would say most people haven't. This has been the most televised women's basketball tournament ever, I believe. Um, and the two things that's happening, of course, in America, is you got white Caitlin Clark versus black Andrew Reese.
Hmm.
Um, Caitlin Clark is from Iowa, and
Right.
she during the whole tournament she's been doing the you can't see me tone. You know what I'm saying? Everybody wants to say it's the John Cena, but the real ones no.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So when Angel Reese beat Caitlin Clark in the championship game, she hit her with the "You can't see me, you can't see me," right? Did it talk back to her? People got people was in an uproar, like, "Oh, this is so unsportsmanlike. It's not classy." You know what I mean? But then it turned into, "Oh, she's a thug. She has no home training." You know what I
Okay.
mean? That all that stuff. You know what I mean?
So from my understanding of it, yeah, one shout out to you for mentioning Tony Ayo. I feel like that's I feel like there was a lot of talk about it being a John Cena move. Shout out to him too, but it was Tony Ayo.
Yeah.
um, yeah, from my understanding, it was that. So I don't know if I have the details right. The Caitlin Clark person in Iowa? She did the taunt. Was it in the championship game or was it in a different game that she did it?
I believe it was a different game. The championship game, they were losing pretty much the whole game, so she better not have done it in that game.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it was so. But this is the thing: if she did it in that game or not, the backlash that Angel Reese received from it, Taylor didn't receive no backlash when she was doing it. Is the point?
Yeah, people were going like hard. I think someone uh call called Angel Reese a piece of shit, or it's like
Yes,
it's
yes,
like a 18-year-old. It's that seems for like a sports. I'm not the biggest sports person, but like taunts, it's maybe not the most sportsmanship thing, but it's a part that it's not like this completely unique, isolated incident. It's like that's a thing that a lot of athletes do. So I don't know, to go out of the way to call her a piece of shit, it seems a little like overkill. Seems like an overreaction.
it's definitely no reaction, especially when you didn't call Caitlin Clark a piece of shit. That's the point. So it's not like you're like, yo, I don't like this. It's like, oh, I don't like when a black person does this.
Mm,
That's what the problem was. They white had a problem with it when the white girl was doing it, but when the black girl did it, oh, this is not right. No, it's right. It's a sport. Like it's a tornado. Like people when the Kembe Mutombo blocked the shot every time in the NBA, every time he blocked the shot, no, 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 every time. You know what I
yeah.
mean? You in the NBA they had to ban this. You
People
can't
were
do that.
doing that.
You can't. Yeah,
That's kind of wild.
right. Caitlin Clark didn't go. Caitlin Clark wasn't like. I mean, Angel Reese wasn't like, yeah, bang bang. No, she just said you can't see me. Like it was only because she was black. That's it.
Mm.
That's it.
Dude, so the second part of it was that I wasn't sure how much of this was being a victim of the news cycle in sense of polarizing a story for more than it actually was, sort of thing. Like we're talking about the idea of like if someone's black and the criticism they get, and white player that did seemingly the same thing. And I was looking a little bit more at the details, and I don't know. One, I think they are two different situations a little bit in the sense that like it looked like the Caitlyn person, they were doing it in a different game, and it was to her team. Like it was like score did it to her team versus Angel, which within her right to do sort of thing, it's competition, was like doing it to her after winning the game, sort of thing. So like I get there is like a slight difference in that. However, I also don't think it has to be something that's blown up to the story of like because she's black, because she's white, or that it should even be that much criticism for Angel Reese for doing something that athletes tend to do often. This when I heard this story and saw some details, it felt very much like one that got spun into something that it didn't need to be.
The racist white people spun it.
Hmm.
This wasn't a story to anyone but them.
Yahoo.
It was racist. So look, Caitlin Clark's haunting thing was the NCAA was using that clip for promotion.
Right.
Like they have like clips of her just like on commercials, like, if I beat you, I'm doing that.
Right. Yeah.
What are you, bro? It's only a thing because she's black. We're only having this conversation because she's black. If that was, I don't know, Angelica Reese, and she won and she did this, they'd be like, oh, look at that. That was so clever. Like, you know what
Right.
I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
I do think that's true. If it was like a white other player doing it, there wouldn't be as much like the polarizing conversation about it, and people wouldn't have. I don't think there would be comments about them being a piece of shit. I think maybe some people would be like, "Oh, I'm not into that," but like the vitriol that it's met with, I do think that is a black issue.
there would have been no, there would be zero pushback if she was white.
Mm.
Period. We would not be talking about this.
Mm.
It's a thing because the racists made it a thing. No black person said anything about it.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's I started seeing a little bit more about it, and it just led me down a tunnel of Tony Yayo information. That was I did some John Cena and Tony Yayo, and I was like, oh crap, I should probably look further into the story. It's,
They said they were calling her a thug because she was doing a Tony Yayo dance. I'm like, y'all don't know a thug. Tony Yayo, that's a thug. Okay, Andrew Reese, act like Andrew Reese was the one touring on gun charges on running from the cops. Like, no, that's Tony.
wow. Tony Yayo getting on stage, running off right away.
That's a thug.
I like how they're like is a strong word for this, but like it was interesting to see how there was two race aspects to it because there's sort of the athletes, but also the idea of like people kind of again that gesture giving credit to John Cena for it. It's like there was an original person doing it. It wasn't like a minor original person. Like Tony Ayo was a pretty popular person who made that. What was it? Camera splash so much that I got to do the yayo dance. Like it's a known thing that yayo is the thing. So I thought that was interesting too, and I like that people have been calling it out of like, no, that is a Tony Yayo gesture.
Exactly. Exactly. We wouldn't be here without Tony Yayo or the racists.
2024 Yayo in the building. Speaking of the future and what has to come, I think we should get some prop suggestions. This time of the year, early April, we got some of the sun coming out. The bluster's going away a little bit. But one thing to recognize before getting on your tank tops and such, do your taxes. Gotta do your taxes. Or this is a good time to evade your taxes as well. But if you want to avoid those issues, keep in mind that tax season is around. And if anyone needs assistance with their taxes, I'm not going to do it. But if you go to your local library, they have people there that will assist you, whether it's you do a basic W-2 job where it's a matter of just doing TurboTax, or if you're a freelance worker who is working independently, they will assist you there. So that's going to be my prop suggestion to the people.
Are the people that are assisting people with the tax at the like, are they homeless people or they work there? Or just who are these people?
I think there's librarians. It would be being shout out if there's like a houseless person that's like help people with their taxes at the local library. That's like a good way to kind of pay for like space in the library. It's like, all right, well, I don't want to be outside. I'd like to be in the library. I guess I'll help out while I'm here, sort of thing, and help some people with their taxes. That could be a new program.
You know all the library ins and outs. I love it.
I
All
try.
right, so My proper suggestion is gift ideas.
Well,
So gift ideas. So I thought about it because I'm drinking out of a mug that was a gift.
well,
Okay. And this mug, it says it's from my kids. They
oh,
didn't. It says "Happy Birthday, Dad." I don't. This was from years ago, but it's a mug and it has pictures. Like you can see, like it's pictures of me and my kids on it. You see them,
oh yeah.
and then like another picture of me when I was in high school.
Okay, there you go.
So good. It's a good gift idea. So my suggestion is if you're looking for a gift, like it's a really if you got a picture of you and a friend or a picture like you can think of a gift. It's not expensive. You know what I mean? $20 maybe. Slap a you get to slap a thing on a picture on the cup. In the website, it's Vistaprint.
That's
You can
okay.
do you can upload the picture and they can put it on any item you want actually. You know what I mean? But I think cups are cool because like everybody's drinking tea and coffee and stuff like that. So yeah, that's my suggestion. If you're looking for gift ideas, yeah, Vistaprint, you can print out some stuff with pictures of yourself on it or your friends and family.
Is that your way of saying what you want from me for Christmas? Is that if like during Christmas time, getting you a gift, I should get you a mug with a photo of you on there?
I thought you were gonna say a photo of you.
Oh, well, yeah, that may be a part of it.
I was going to say I don't know if I want to put my lips on you on a picture of you, Kirk.
Yeah. You want to put your lips on yourself. That's funny. Oh,
Exactly. Yeah.
no, that's a great suggestion, man. I feel like people are always going to love those items, and you make a household item personal. Same for like I've seen it on candles. You get like a candle and like have a photo of like you on there, which kind of wild. It seems like a little bit of a voodoo fire hazard. It seems a little adjacent to that if like you have fire next to the person that you're sending a gift to. But I like that idea though. I don't think anyone's ever gifted me a personalized mug. I got a mug with art of Garfield painted on it, and that was cool because the person knew that I liked Garfield, but never one of like, here's us at a picnic, or here's us over here in Times Square. Now you could drink this and remember that time that we did that. So yeah, I think that's a solid gift, man.
Yes, I know. I'm going to get you for your birthday.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, that'd be very nice.
We have plenty of pictures.
I was about to say I didn't send it to you and Pat. I hung up my mix style, the one it was like a photo of us from a church of satire. And mixed style is that one I mentioned, like you send a photo in and they mail it to you in a frame already and it has like the sticky thing on the back. So you just
Mm.
like move it in and out and around. And yeah, it's one of my favorite photos. It's like I'm trying to get more photos in my apartment because it's feels like it's mainly just like random art pieces from thrift shops. So I'm
It's
trying to
called
get like
what's it called? Mixed tile.
mixed style, yeah. It's like through an app. I think it's like $15 per photo, which when you think about it, frames tend to be a little more expensive, and then printing it out tends to be kind of, if not expensive, kind of a hassle. You got to step outside to go to the CVS, put your mask on, and all that stuff. Mixed styles, though, you just order it online. It's very nice.
No mask needed.
No mask needed at all. Well, unless you're ordering it at a CVS. I still mask up at CVS and Rite Aid. I don't think that's ever going to change.
I'm out here, bro. I'm out here. I ain't wearing masks in months, bro.
Bro, when it comes to like going in a place where like beyond like COVID, it's like people are like go there to get sick people medicine. It's like, all right, well, if there is ever a spot to avoid inhaling any sort of air, this may be the spot.
Yeah, man. Producer Pat said I'm walking through fires from malt liquor. Forget the mask.
Oh my gosh. That's
The fact, bro. Listen, I'm out here, baby. I'm raw dogging air, man.
that's
I'm done, man. I'm done with it. Flights. Flights is the only place I'm wearing. I don't even wear masks in Ubers no more, bro. Like, I don't put the window down. We out here, bro.
Oh my goodness. Living life again. Living life again. I'm curious, what are your thoughts on this? Um, so apparently there's been a company that they plan on releasing a vaccine that will address not one, but two to three comorbids. So it's the vaccine will address cancer, um, cardiovascular issues, and immune system issues. All three, one vaccine, 2024. You with it?
Pick me, Doc. Stick me where you need to stick me. Yeah.
Really? You're
Stick
with it.
me. Stick me. Give it to me.
Chill, dog.
What's it gonna do? Like, look, all right, look. So I obviously like I'm kidding around, but like if they had like a thing where it's like it was tested and proven, I would take it. Yeah, like medicine, the way they come up with medicine these days, like what's the back what's the backdraw? Like what's the negatives? What's the side effect? Like what's like the vaccine, like the COVID vaccine is just like your arm be numb. You may feel like you got the COVID for like a day or something like that, but like that's
I,
it.
I don't know if I'd feel as wavy doing that right away. I feel like that's one where like if it was like maybe one thing that it was addressing, but the fact that it's like we're gonna get all three of these things in one shot, it seems markety. It seems very much like, all right, that's if that hasn't been done before, it's something that's relatively new. And the fact that it's targeting all three instead of narrowing on one, and it's not just like all three, like there's multiple different cancers, multiple different cardio issues. It just seems very like, hey, we're going to be able to cure all everything. It almost sounds like a diet plan of like, yo, you do this diet plan, it's going to fix everything in your life. So when I hear that, it's just like I have some skepticism, where I don't know if I'd be on board to try that out right away. Um,
Yeah, that's that. Okay, look, the thing we're being like that. How you can't cure cancer, but you can cure cancer with two other things mixed in already.
yeah, that's it seems kind of I don't think it's made by Pfizer. I gotta double check that part, but it's like vaccines are popping right now. Vaccines are popping. People are it's polarized thing where people are have more love for vaccines than ever. The dogs love it and all that. So it's almost like when you're selling anything, it's like, oh well, what are ways that we can kind of market off of that? And I'm sure too, they've been like doing research on this for years. Like it's not like a brand new thing, but in terms of like how the article, which I think was like BBC, pretty reputable, how they were advertising it and like how they were talking about the people that make it, how they were talking about it, kind of spooked me out a little bit.
Look, all right,
So,
look, I'm down with medicine and shit and vaccines. I'm down with that, right? But of course, I don't want the first cancer vaccine to be mixed with two other things. Of course you don't want that. And then when you say cardiovascular, like cardiovascular what? Like is it this disease or is it blockage? Like what are you know what I mean? Like
you
what
can
are
eat
you
all these burgers that you want.
yeah, like I don't
Red Bull. I don't, you know, what, man, I want a vaccine against canker sores.
know. Mm.
That's all. Because it's like it's a mild enough thing where it's like, all right, I don't think there has to be that much of a major adjustment in my body, sort of thing. But canker sores, they get kind of annoying. Luckily, ever since I started taking vitamin D, the canker sores have been reduced like greatly. But if
Mm.
you're someone out there that's suffering from canker sores, I don't know, maybe a vaccine, if that's ever made, that could be the move.
And that's that thing in your that sore in your mouth. Is that what that is?
It's different. Pat played a different music. It's so technically yes, it is like a form of herpes, but it's not like the kissing herpes sort of thing. Which shout out to anyone that has kissing herpes. I just don't have.
Yo, don't you can't don't say it's a form of herpes. Don't say that.
Well, you were angling towards it being a form of herpes, so I thought I'd get on.
That's not helping you.
I'm clarifying to the people. Canker sores, that's something that's inside the mouth. A lot of times more so stress induced, or different dietary induced, and sometimes hereditary for a lot of people. My grandmother got a lot of them too. Versus you got bumps over here and here because you're kissing Melissa and Steve and all that stuff, and then going about the streets. So they're a little bit different. No disrespect to the mouth herpes people, but it's different.
So it's not a form of herpes, is it?
No, it's a form of herpes, but it's like it's a different form of herpes. It's
Trying to give you an out.
it's. Oh, well, luckily I got my out, and it's through vitamin D. And I will say, suffering is a strong term, but it's an affliction that I had. Yeah, like I would get canker sores. Like sometimes it'd be like 2 to 3 a month. It'd be a whole hassle, but it's like now I get like 2 or 3 a year.
Oh,
So,
you're
yeah, it's chilling, man. So it's kind of nice. Vitamins really they worked out in that way. When people talk, that's one thing I'm learning more and more about as I get older. Like, oh, there's power to vitamins. They're actually pretty good.
Yeah, I'll take vitamins.
You taking
Yeah,
Fitbit?
I love the chewable gummies because they taste delicious. Like I'll eat chewable gummies all day. I'm like, okay, that's enough iron.
I'm calciumed up right now.
You know, would you? You know who I would? All right, I was about to ask you, like, is there a celebrity you would get herpes for?
Get herpes for. That's funny.
And I was going to be like, maybe J Lo, just so I could segue to J Lo selling.
Yeah, that's that'd be an interesting segue. It would put us both in interesting positions. Man, if I had to get herpes from one person, Miss Piggy. I'm gonna go with Miss Piggy. Yeah.
For me, it'd probably be Lola Bunny.
Well, man, I want to take mine back now. Yeah. Then
If
Lola
Lola,
giving us both herpes. We're gonna have the same type of herpes. I don't know.
yeah,
It's-
because we all. Never mind. I was about to go way left, but I won't do it. But I will say though, if Lola Bunny sold alcohol and liquor, even though she didn't drink it, would you buy it?
Man, I think so. I think I want to try the experience. And I think a lot of people are debating this for themselves now because it's become a reality for J to the Hello, Jennifer Lopez. She has started an alcohol brand, and people are, when I say people, maybe three or four people that said it, and then it became a headline. People nonetheless are outraged. They're hysterical that Jennifer Lopez, who identifies as someone that doesn't really drink, has started a brand of liquor. They feel that it's hypocritical and that it's a money grab, and there's no integrity into the J Lo's endeavors. Dude, I don't. I think it's fine. I think it's fine, sort of thing. Like I think there's different ways to look at it. Like if you're a sex addict and you open up a brothel, I could see how people may say like, oh, that's maybe hypocritical sort of thing. Like you're a recovering sex addict and you're opening something that's purely for the thing that you're trying to limit or avoid. Um, I think it's if you're as a consumer, you have the choice to drink just like anything else. Like you could be doing the Budweisers, you could be doing the Natty Ices, the tequilas, and all that stuff. And if you elect to have one of J Lo's things, I don't think you're being I don't think it's a sign against sobriety or like a pro drinking endeavor. Well, I guess it is in a way; it's pro drinking endeavor, but I don't think they're two separate things.
So I don't think so. I'm thinking like at first when I first heard about it, like I didn't know. So when you first sent the topic, whatever, I thought when I seen it online, I thought it was just J Lo was like a brand ambassador for alcohol. I didn't know she had her own alcohol. Like she created her own thing. I didn't know that.
Right.
With that though, I think is I think that makes it better for her. I think it looks better for her. There are people selling things they don't use all the time.
Yeah.
Like there are people there are people that sell makeup that don't use makeup. There are people that sell everything.
We gotta
Like
like
what?
start. We want to get on this train. We gotta start selling condoms, sort of thing like that. I think that would be
I just
that
know
could
I don't
really
use. I know I don't, but I know you didn't too.
be. Damn, we really are gonna catch herpes. But yeah, that's
I'm in a committed relationship, so for years now. So
yeah.
that's
I think I'm again with committed relationship and also vitamin D. I think I'm okay. But but yeah, it's I I I don't. People are pretty upset over the idea. Again, I don't know how many people, but if that's something that she's doing, then it's like I think people are trying to hold whenever you're a celebrity up to a particular standard. There's probably tons of people that have alcohol brands that are sober, don't drink, they smoke instead. There's probably a ton. I don't think you need to be a part of that service or in order to do that service. In fact, it's almost better. Like, do you want J Lo to be a drunk? Is that what you prefer? Like, you prefer to be like a super alcoholic, running a business, putting like
exactly.
codeine in the drinks and all that stuff? Like, probably better that she's more like clear minded and is able to get you these distilled drinks.
That's one of the 10 crack commandments. Don't get high on your own supply.
Yeah.
Like it makes perfect sense. She can it's all profit now. She's not dipping back in, drinking the profit. No, it's going to the pockets. It makes perfect sense. Like I get it. There's only backlash because she's J Lo, and people be backlashing everything she does because she's J Lo. Like that's just what it is. You know what I mean?
The people they want Flavor Flav to come out with a line of drinks sort of thing where he's like dipping his finger in the drinks and all that stuff. I
I
don't.
thought you were going to say. I thought you were going to say a line of crack.
I would never besmirch him that heavy. I don't know what Flavor Flav does. That felt like it felt
No,
like a
no,
walk
no.
on the scene.
Flav Flav said he spent like $2,000 on hard drugs every day at some point.
Yeah, I think he said like from like some point in the 80s to like 2013, which includes Flavor of Love, which I was like, oh my god, you got pumpkin in the mix too. Oh my god,
I'm mad I get the reference.
not hoops, not hoops.
Hoops is so bad.
She was good.
Yeah, man. So as I said, man, J Lo, they go. It's J Lo. Like I think that everything she does now, like because of her career she's had, and looking back on it, there's been a lot of weird things in her career. But I think now she's at, it's just like people just gonna hate on her, whatever. Like I know people that don't eat beef that sell cheesesteaks. It's just like, bro, it's gonna happen.
Yeah. Would you go to a Jennifer Lopez concert if it was free?
I would pay to see J Lo.
Really?
Yeah, I would. She got some bops. I'm not listen. J Lo got bops and she looked great. I would. I'll be right up front. Yeah.
I'd see JLo. I don't know. It takes a lot for me to pay for any concert, really. But like, if it was like a convenient situation, like I wouldn't travel like different states to go see a lot of people, including JLo. But if it was like JLo's performing in Monaco and the prices range from $20 to $100, like, all right, yeah, all right, Friday night, go see Jennifer Lopez. I'm waiting for the night. Be very good.
J Lo at the community college just rocking out.
I'll fan out to her too. There's always that rumor where I grew up of like JLo's grandmother lives near here, and I
Oh,
carried that. Yeah, like
oh, in the Bronx.
yeah, they would always say like JLo's grandmother lives near here, and it may have been true. I never confirmed it, but it always felt a little bit like, do we know that? Do we like we Bronx is a big place, but I carried it on for like years. I was like, yeah, allegedly I grew up near JLo's grandmother.
Her grandma probably lived in Puerto Rico.
It's
Nowhere near.
AKA the South Bronx.
Right.
Man.
I used to think there was more Puerto Rican people in New York than in Puerto Rico, like for years.
Yeah.
And I Googled it, and I've been telling people the wrong info for a long time.
Yeah, I think there's more Puerto Ricans in Puerto Rico than there is the Bronx, but the Bronx has a lot of Puerto Ricans now. Like New York in general has a lot of Puerto Ricans, but the Bronx, that seems to be like the Dominicans and Puerto Ricans reside in the BX. I should know Spanish. I should know. I just know all the bad words that people would call me. Those are the only Spanish that I know.
That's all you need to know. You need to know how people are treating you. That's all you need to know.
I suppose.
So you can move accordingly. That's all you need to know. How people are treating you.
Roja, Verde, Puto. That's the only Spanish that I know.
Verde's green.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, yeah. Like that's Rojo is like the red. I was saying colors too, but like I know just the basics and like.
Oh, see, I didn't even catch you. I didn't even catch you were saying other colors. I was like, "Oh, that's green."
Yo soy el jefe, mi amigo.
Oh, no comprende.
I don't know what that means. No, shit.
I don't. Okay. No habla español. When I was working telemarketing, right, and call Spanish people. They were like, "No, speak English." And I was like, "I know exactly what to say. No habla español." Adios.
I like the idea of like them being like, well, I guess we can't talk then, right? Because there seems to be a language barrier. But you
No, like you know how messed up it is. Like there was like so on the jobs, right? There'll be like a disposition. Like after every phone call, you got to click a disposition. Like what happened? Like they answered, they hung up on you, they weren't interested. There was disposition like only speak Spanish.
Yeah.
It was like
only speak another language or just Spanish?
only speak Spanish. So like when I would encounter like a I don't know someone that speaks like Mandarin,
yeah,
I would just put only speak Spanish, like because there wasn't like no other options.
I like there's an analyst checking the bad demographics of like people that don't pick up, and it's like, wow, we have like a lot of like Spanish customers here. It's
Right? So
it's
messed up.
we're
Yeah,
based in Japan. I don't know how this happens. It's
but it's happening out there, man. So
yeah,
yeah,
but
man. I don't know what you got. What you got planned for this weekend, man? You got anything popping on this weekend?
oh, besides dog sitting for the rest of the day, I'll be going out to see UFC 287 with shout out to Ray. The dip's gonna come through. Buffalo Wild Wings. I'm gonna get there probably like around like 10ish or something like that, since I'm on dog duty until the owners come back, sort of thing. But that's pretty much my weekend, along with
What's
Snake.
the what's the situation with WWE and UFC? They're one thing now.
Oh yeah, so like they're merged now. So UFC and WWE was announced after WrestleMania, which is a big that's like the season finale for wrestling, for WWE at least. They
I
are
watched I watched some of WrestleMania.
Oh yeah, did you?
They had it. I was at Church of Satire last weekend. They had it playing in the green room, and I was watching it, and I was like, I can't watch this shit.
What? Oh, was it
It's
the
so
title one?
choreographed. It's so choreographed, bro. Like it looked like ballet. They were like dancing. I was like, I can't. I was
Oh,
like,
it's
I can't.
beautiful. That's like it ballet is a kind of a cool way in terms of like the moves that they're doing for it, and like the athleticism and the conviction. Um,
I
I
can't, bro. I'm too smart now. I know too much. I know too much to watch wrestling and enjoy it like I did when I was a kid. It's like that can't be real. I can't. I
That's
can't
the
get it.
key. You got to be smart in the sense of like, oh yeah, this is entertainment. Like I'm not watching this because I think Cody Rhodes actually hates Roman Reigns. It's theater. They're putting on a show.
I'm not going to even lie to you, right? As you said, bro, I was locked in. Like after like I went early in the show, so like I was like locked in, and like Michael O'Donnell was there, and he's likes wrestling, and I was like talking to him about it, and I was like, mind you, like I was saying these things like it looks so choreographed, but I was locked in, like I was laughing, like yo, that's crazy, so it's like yes, I did it, like yes, I don't get the same feeling as I did when I was a kid, but I was tuned into it, like it was on, I wasn't on my phone, like I was.
Yeah, they evoke emotions, man, and it's like I'm always blown away. I mean, I don't watch as much as I used to, but I'm always blown away by the idea of like you're telling a full-blown story through a lot of nonverbal movements and the athleticism that comes with it. Like you can't fake a backflip off the turnbuckle. Like that's a real thing that you just did. And it was a good WrestleMania. I watched night one with the dip and the snake. It was such a good night. It was like we were reined in, took the snake out.
Oh,
WrestleMania.
I know what snake you were talking about. My fault. I was like,
Oh yeah. um, that was for the post show. No, but like we had Alyosha out, and Lisa and I were watching WrestleMania. It's always interesting introducing someone to professional wrestling.
hmm.
It always feels very much like you're introducing them to a monster truck show. It's like, all right, so this is going to be ridiculous, and there's going to be a lot of nuanced things, and I get how it can may feel kind of adjacent to like a NASCAR situation, where from outside perspective it seems goofy, and it is, but it's about kind of recognizing the theater elements of it and picking up on that. I don't know what this means for UFC because now that they've merged, they're now under one umbrella company, Endeavor, and their stock is probably going to go up like crazy. But the sell was like I think
Millions.
$50 billion. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
a buttload, and most of that being from WWE. I don't know if this means for something like the UFC where we're going to start seeing like someone's in an armbar and then one of the referees gets like kicked in the nuts and is down out, and then like the person's trying to tap out, but then they're waiting for another referee to come in, sort of thing.
I hope not.
It seems dangerous. I
I hope
truly hope not.
I hope they just leave USC how it is and
Yeah,
just use like their marketing and what their brand to help push it farther, but don't mess with it. Like let them
yeah.
really kill each other.
I would be so annoyed if they like they're doing like it's a big bout sort of thing. We got Jorge Masvidal versus Gilbert Burns, and out of nowhere, Colby Covington runs in with a steel chair. It's like, what is this? What is this? The ref's not looking. Oh my God! Like I really don't want it to be that. I don't think it will be. But UFC has aspects of wrestling in the sense like a lot of the fighters they tap into that theatrical element where they call people out afterwards, and they like create these narratives. I think an extra dose of that in the UFC, I'm okay with that. I think that enhances a lot of the entertainment value.
Marketing.
Yeah, marketing for like the fights, advertising. But I think in terms of like the actual competition, I don't want that for neither. And same thing, I don't want like wrestling to be like, all right, now we're actually putting people in kimoras and all that. Like, and people are out for 6 months because they have to be on a medical suspension. I don't want that either. So hopefully it's like church and state. They're separated, but at the same time, people kind of tie them both in nonetheless.
Church and state. You know what I'm saying? Two things where one guy's getting hurt. I don't know. I can't think of anything funny. But yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Keep them both the same. I use the marketing for WWE and the backing and the power that they have to push UFC farther and create storylines. I think storylines would be great too, like you just mentioned. Yeah, but the WrestleMania was it's interesting to watch.
Did you see when Shane McMahon was in there? Like, did you watch on Sunday or Saturday?
Saturday.
Oh, okay. There was a one match on Sunday. Shane McMahon, who's like the son of Vince McMahon, who wrestles a lot. Like he
I
gets
know who Shane McMahon is. I'm not. I used to watch wrestling as a kid.
context. But so he came back as a surprise thing, and people were like, "Whoa, Shane's here!" And then like literally 5 seconds or 10 seconds into the match, he does a leap over the Miz and lands weird, twists his ankle, and then he's out. And Snoop Dogg happened to be on like one of the people on the side. Snoop Dogg called one of what's being deemed as one of the most impressive audibles in professional wrestling history. So Shane McMahon is down, and Miz is in there like looking at Shane like, "Oh yeah, are you gonna get up? Are you gonna get up?" Knowing that Shane's actually injured. And Snoop Dogg comes in the ring and punches the Miz and gives him a people's elbow. And that wasn't supposed to be the ending of the match. Snoop and I think a cameraman kind of like orchestrated like, what should we do? And then did that at WrestleMania, which I think is
Yo,
when we talk about Hall of Famers, man, he well deserved because that is a Hall of Famer move right there, Snoop.
Snoop is the greatest American.
He really is national treasure.
Yeah, man. Snoop is the man, yo. He can't do no wrong, yo. Everybody loves Snoop, man.
Yeah, man, that's a cool thing to see, just the trajectory of someone like Snoop's career, where it's like, oh yeah, you're just not even like just, but you're someone that is known as just a beloved person that can dip your toes into multiple different things. And he's like Shaq in a lot of ways. You have a fascination with a lot of cool random things.
Yeah.
And we see you do whatever you feel like doing. I like that.
Yeah, man. He does it all. He went from being fighting a murder case to hanging out with Martha Stewart. Like, what?
Yeah.
What? Yeah, man. That's dope, man. But yeah, man, I think that I'm interested to see what happens with the UFC now that they're bought. So it'd be very interesting
Are you
to see.
watching tonight?
No, I will not be. I will not be watching it.
So
I
you
will
gotta
be
get
doing.
going.
I'll be telling jokes. I don't. I love. I like. I know I'm not gonna lie to you. I like to talk to you about it.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan. Like I watch the highlights when they come on, like Sports Center and things like that, or like the very polarizing things, or like when somebody gets really beat up, or like something crazy happens. Like I like that kind of stuff, but like I'm not a fan of the. I haven't gotten into it. Like I like boxing, but I haven't gotten to the UFC. Like just
Mm.
sitting, hanging out, pay per view, and just watching. Like I haven't gotten there yet. But
It's I get it, the idea of like getting it kind of secondhand sort of thing without having to like absorb like all of it.
yeah,
It's the closest I've gotten to like being a sports person.
mhm.
Never really got into basketball, never really got into football. Professional wrestling is what I got into. But yeah, UFC is one where it's like, oh, this is like a non-choreographed competition that like I'm fully invested in.
Yeah,
And yeah, tonight's going to be a good one, held in Miami. Jorge Masvidal versus Gilbert Burns, and what's a very deciding factor for Jorge Masvidal's career, as he's been on a four loss losing streak. Or no, sorry, three. This one could be the fourth, but I don't like to be biased, but I'm rooting for Jorge on this one. I would like to see Jorge take the W on this.
why?
One, it's in Miami, which is like his home base. He's been on this losing streak with formidable opponents. He makes the sport in his division welterweight very exciting. So if he were to win, there's a whole bunch of components with in terms of like getting the title shot and him being in that conversation. It's almost like Conor McGregor being in conversation for a title fight. where it's like, oh, it makes the title a little bit more exciting when you have someone
Right.
like I mean, Gilbert's cool too, but yeah, it would be nice to see Jorge take it. He's the one that dressed up for his Halloween one time, so that's another part too. Uh,
That's the real reason you want to wear your costume again.
it's, I'm gonna put in some braids and all that. And Israel Adesanya, he'll be on this in this card as well versus his arch nemesis Alex Pereira, which if you last year when they had three African champions, Israel Adesanya was one of them. Yeah, so he's going to attempt to try to get that title back, but more so redeem himself from the last loss with Alex Pereira. So it should be a good card, man. It's if you after you tell some jokes and you're looking at the co-main event and main event, those probably start around like 11. So keep that in mind, sort of thing.
We'll see. It's on pay-per-view.
Yeah, but a lot of play like if you're like at a bar, some places will be playing it. Like I never get the pay-per-views. Shout out to Bruce and Pat. I believe he's getting the pay-per-view. And we always chat afterwards, all that stuff. I would love to get proper Ebonics live feed of us watching a UFC event.
That'd
You
be cool.
we got to do a thing where it's like well, no, I was gonna say like there's a comedy show like right next to it. If like we did that before, then afterwards sort of thing. But
We could figure something out. We have to just have to look at the dates.
yeah, usually on Saturdays and all that stuff. They're gonna be in New Jersey on May 6th, but I'll be in New York for my dad's birthday. We're gonna try to make Griffiths family reunion a thing again, but we'll see.
You have to Cinco de Mayo, baby.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, baby. So, sheesh, Dad. Yeah, man. I'm going to Dibbity Dip soon. I gotta head back to the apartment to look after a snake for a little bit before coming back and wrapping this up. What are you getting into for the rest of the weekend?
Shows, bro. I'm in a mix show. I got a show at Rise Radio. They got like some kind of this is something in Brooklyn. I'm not even sure what it is. Like some kind of festival going on where they got like all day events from like noon to like 10, and the comedy shows at 8.
Uh,
So
that's cool.
I'm on that, and then tomorrow night I'm on the Tiny Cupboard at 10, and then yeah, I got Grizzly Pear Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday this week. So like I'm trying. I'm telling you, bro. This album. I don't even. I'm getting goosebumps right now, bro.
Oh,
When I put this album out, I foresee like if the right person here, what I got to say, how I put these things together, bro. Like this shit can
yeah.
take off. Like I'm excited. But it's the thing though. Like I'm more excited just for the people to hear it because there's so many people that I talk to and follow me that don't really see. You know what I mean? I don't think people really understand. Like I feel like I'm one of them bulls. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, man. It's
I'm excited.
you're beyond in the mix. You are the mix.
Yeah,
That's,
I'm
if you want a nickname, you could go the mix.
Alan the Mixed Massenburg,
Yeah.
my UFC name.
It's more of your professional wrestling name, I think. But
Okay.
well, good stuff, man. Always cool to hear you do your thing. I look forward to seeing in person again. And yeah, man, if you're still listening, thank you for coming through for the whole thing. And hit us up if you have any questions about UFC, professional wrestling, Snoop Dogg, and polarizing stories in general, and vitamins. Yeah, throw it in the mix. But we're out here for now. Thanks again.
Peace.